No Tomorrow is now one game away from being able to not only take out Team Freedom, but get their first series victory. And it all comes down to us wondering, is this finally the time that No Tomorrow really locks in their synergy and starts to play as the team that we always hypothesized they could be?
You know what the secret is? Role swapping. That's it.
Oh, was that it?
We figured it out. Just put Talking Trees on the support because he is a tree, and then we put Tiger JK on the false side. That being said, honestly, I didn't feel like the role swap helped them at all, really. I obviously I don't know the idea or the thought process behind it. In the end, looking at the play, I didn't feel like somebody outperformed on one role or the other by getting that role swap in. So we'll see if they continue that into the next game, or if it was just like a one-time deal here. As we kind of look at the maps and then we don't look at the maps. But yeah, so yeah, going ahead though, No Tomorrow though, being able to get the first win. They have made some changes. Like Urho being on point with the Diablo, debatably one of the better Diablo plays we've just seen across the board. And then also just making that improvement. Hopefully it continues going forward because it would be nice to know that at least they got, you know, their first win here. And
Team Freedom, we have seen them be able to do so much. We're going to go into the Battleground picks, but as we do that, we've seen them being able to take out teams like Gale Force Esports, as well as Navindic. I will hazard to say that they don't quite look to be the same team here that they were there.
For Freedom?
Yeah.
Yeah, I very much agree. It does seem like there's been, you know, a tone shift really between the team, at least when it comes to their play style, or maybe the confidence behind it, or whether or not, you know, how dare we say, it might have just been a meta that they were really over-accelerating at. I don't think that is the case, but, you know, you got to look at a little bit of everything here. Freedom just has to find a way to be able to recover.
I think some of it is, too, is that we can see that No Tomorrow, again, with both of the teams liking the same heroes so much, they're just not going to be able to get everything that they want. So we'll see if Freedom can make the adjustments. The flexibility was their problem versus B-Step before, but they should understand, in general, the composition styles that they're playing against, especially since it's very close to the ones that they've been playing as well.
Yeah, I mean, now we're going to be on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Interesting map here for these teams. I'm guessing a lot of focus might be put into the solo. I guess maybe not as much as some of the others. These teams, when it comes to their drafts on this map, does seem like they aren't nearly as committed to the map objective as, you know, some of the other parts of the world. Again, sticking a little bit more to the comfort that they have. Tass and Ragnaros are going to be the bans here. So when it comes to first pick, is it the Malfurion? It is the Malfurion. Now, what is No Tomorrow's answer? Do they still put value into their Tychus, or do they move in other directions?
Before they picked Gul'dan versus Superstars, I would not mind that one at all. Another one was Artanis, if they feel like they want to be the ones to get Artanis here. But I liked something with the Gul'dan. They could still go into Gul'dan, Zarya. But if Trees is playing support, I don't know who would play Gul'dan, because that is the Gul'dan player.
Yeah, at this point, it's just kind of like somebody will be on it, you know? I guess that's how we can view it until we figure out where the role swapping, if it is truly going to be a Gale Force experience here for No Tomorrow, or in fact they are going to return to their original.
A sick band name, the Gale Force Experience.
Yeah. Okay, a little bit, yeah. I think
I love it.
The Gale Force Experience.
Somebody make an album cover of that, please. 7 seconds. Yeah, I think Gul'dan's Zarya is what we'll see here, but it could also be Varian Tychus.
It could be, you know, and now that you say that, I really think that might be what they go with.
Yeah.
Freedom now on the response. So kill potential considering the 4-man with the Varian. Tychus not necessarily the best follow-up. Wave clear is going to be lacking, so No Tomorrow always already taking a risk when looking at the map that is Tomb, which means they need to hyper commit to kill potential into their 4. No dominance when it comes to the solo. Ragnaros has been removed, so maybe it's going to put, as you brought up, focus into the Artanis. Dahaka doesn't necessarily do too hot on this map. Thrall is still pretty neat, though, who suddenly has kind of disappeared from North America.
Both of these teams, though, do love their Thrall plays. We've got Casanova on one side. That's really where we started to see Casanova make plays for No Tomorrow. And then on the other side, Insomnia. Lots of favorites, but Thrall is one of them. Gul'dan and Zarya on the other side. There's where it is.
Whoop, whoop. Freedom, though, now their 4-man is going to be very strong. Again, No Tomorrow has to be able to commit to their kill potential here. Now that they've gone with the Varian route, it's just really how the map plays out itself. You need to be able to make up for the wave clear in some way. And I'm trying to figure out where that's going to be in their picks. Their next ban is going to be kind of, a heavy indication where they want to move. On their next ones, like the first thought that comes to my head is obviously like Jaina is pretty good at it. Kel'Thas would be one I wouldn't mind now that we're on Tomb. Though Kel'Thas into Azaria Malfurion doesn't maybe have enough burst. I think the Jaina would probably complement it a little bit better. But also, we rarely see those kind of, innovative picks, I guess, in younger teams. They usually stick to the meta, if you will.
Taking away Zugrug's ETC is no Tommorrow. Do Freedom focus on a support here, like Rhaegar? Cripple the wave clear of no Tommorrow even more? Or are they more focused on, like you said, solo lane? Less of a situation on Tomb as something like Braxis, but a possibility nonetheless.
Yeah, it is weird how that works out. It is a little less solo. There's the ban on Jaina. Freedom here doing the calculations, saying they don't want to deal with that kill potential out of the Jaina. Such a, with no Tommorrow not showing that, it's a very heads-up ban from Freedom, not one that I expected. So now where does no Tommorrow go? Do you back up to the Kel'Thas? Roll into the old faithful KT?
Well, that's one thing that we questioned of their ability to do so. No Tommorrow has players who have been in the scene for quite a long time, but they have yet to show too much adaptation, especially outside of the meta. They've nothing like B-Step as shown before, right?
Tyrande is a direction they could go, speaking of B-Step, into Gul'dan Zarya. Malf, very few tools to be able to deal with it outside the Zarya shields. Post 4, kill potential is high. It's a big risk, but it is one that could work out for no Tommorrow. Either way, 4 seconds, we got to figure it out. Where are they going for the kill potential? Li Ming? Okay. We'll do a little bit, she'll be able to follow up to the variant for sure. As long as there's no minions in the wave, it'll do a large amount of damage. Zarya should be able to peel most of it away, though. So not as much as maybe the Jaina. No, definitely not the Jaina or Tyrande. A little bit less than the Kel'Thas without having that crowd control here. So right now, Freedom's 4-man is just absolutely powerful, and they get the first pick when it comes to the bottom lane as well. I'm thinking they're going to move in the Thrall direction for that. And if they do, that just Freedom has a very strong draft.
I think Zugrug will probably pick Johanna here. Diablo is still up though too. So Malfurion for follow-up on Diablo overpowers. Not sure which direction Zugrug wants to go. For the last pick though, you like Thrall the best?
I do like running Thrall into a triple melee. It does struggle a little bit in the damage department. Gul'dan obviously wants to snowball and ramp up a little bit, but I do think being dominant in your 4 and your 1 is always a big focus. Or the Sonya. I think the Sonya is going to be fine too. Into the 4. That being said, I was really excited for that, and it proceeded to not even get a heroic chosen the last time that it ended up getting picked. And if the Artanis is picked up, we get to see another potential 1v1, but I don't think it'll be the Artanis. If so, I'll do a lot better job of watching the matchup itself to make sure I'm not completely insane in my original understanding of that 1v1.
Or do we get the old school 1v1 legend Sonya versus Thrall, clash of the bottom lane?
I think Sonya gets a pretty heavy edge up on that now, because the only thing Thrall had over her was like she had to go into the minions, and then he's like, all right, here's my full combo, can go pretty close to the trade. He loses in the siege, but keeps her low enough to, be like, hey, Sonya, check yourself before I'm the one who wrecks you. And now the survivability there on the spin is probably going to be a little bit too high. But it's a safe, laner. You can't lose that hard. Somehow I feel like it's Artanis, though. Or Leoric. All right.
That's an adjustment.
It is an adjustment, but it's the Sonya matchup I think is going to still be pretty difficult for him. She will be able to survive most of the DPS he puts out. And as the game, again, her scaling is a little bit higher than some of the other heroes, not so much on actual numbers, but just talents itself. I think will be pretty successful in that. That being said, we saw Poison Spear, and if we see that again, I haven't seen enough of those talents to really know, so we'll find out. But I do like the change, most importantly, from No Tommorrow, seeing other than throw Artanis at the opponents as much as you can.
The only thing that concerns me about Leoric is that we've seen quite a lot of this Leo Entomb versus Zarya Expulsion Zone, and whenever he throws out Entomb, it's just like Expulsion Zone away any extra damage, and then it's over. And add to that the fact that Gul'dan also has Horrify, and I hope that No Tomorrow have some other ideas for how they want to get into fights other than just relying on Entombs.
Yeah, it's really difficult too when looking at just the Leoric on his own without having a pseudo support or somebody else to aid in the shielding, just leaving Rhaegar. It's not usually the most successful pickup. Typically when you see the Zarya is an encounter, but it also works really well with Leoric having those shields because suddenly his W is a free trade. It's a self-heal. So yeah, I agree. It is a risk, but I would much rather that than, you know, same heroes, different game really for No Tomorrow.
Yeah, and the Sonya, it's pretty exciting to see there. Maybe we get Leap this time.
Maybe we get a heroic this time.
That's also good.
I think we will.
I'm just doing that. Makes me think it's going to be Wrath of the Berserker, even just subconsciously. But maybe we'll get that for sure. Any final thoughts for this draft specifically? Who you think took it?
I think Freedom definitely has a better draft. But last time I said that, the team just got absolutely bodied. So maybe, you know, maybe I'll be completely wrong again, and No Tomorrow will be able to pull ahead.
Once again, we get to see new Sonya with her changes. We're headed into Tomb of the Spider Queen for game number 4.
All right, so here we go. Tomb of the Spider Queen. Tiger JK, though, is going to be back in the support.
All right.
It was only a 1 game.
Yeah, I would go crazy if Talking Trees wasn't playing Li Ming.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point, yeah. And again, we didn't see any major, I guess, difference in play level overall when we did see the role swap there. So I'm glad to see them restore themselves. Leoric has moved into the W there at 1. Lion's Maw is the choice now for Varian.
Ooh,
it's
so
the
no
first time we've seen that.
overpower. So once you complete that quest where you have to hit a lot of heroes.
It's like 30?
It is 30 heroes, yes, with Lion's Fang. Then the slow is increased to 50%. So more crowd control overall between that and Leoric building into his drain help.
Yeah, but on this patch, though, we haven't seen that yet. So
no, because Overpower was buffed so strongly.
Yeah. It'll be cool. We'll see how it plays out here. But now it is going to be a 2-1-2 by No Tomorrow. Not necessarily the best of 2-1-2s, but they do struggle when matching the 4-man, so that's going to be their compensation here for what we see in the early game draft of the side of Freedom. The question is, can Freedom snowball this raw aggression that they have over their opponents?
No Fell Flame build for Gul'dan this time. Back to the old standard of Echoed Corruption, so we'll be sure to clue you in with how those stacks are going, as well as Lion's Maw as the game continues.
Yeah, this is it's so interesting to see some of the laning matchups that we see in the North American scene. A lot of it does seem to be more about just stopping your opponents from getting any major aggression in any direction. It's more, I don't know, it's a slight alternative from what the Koreans eventually started moving into, which was a 1-3-1, where you just keep just stop all the bleeding that you can, clear the mid lane, and then see where your opponents go, and then make sure they don't get a kill or pressure anything for free. But instead, we're running 2-1-2s, which doesn't do too well unless there's a self-sustainer in both the lanes, or there's so much sieging, like a Hammer, a Sylvanas, that you can't really capitalize. So it stops the bleeding, but maybe not as effectively as a 1-3-1.
Yeah, the hope is that if you've got those 2 self-sustainers, then whenever you see your opponents move in with a heavy rotation to one lane, then across the map, the other lane pushes as hard as they can and gets what they can. But it does require good communication from the teams, especially as the rotations go through, that you don't overextend and end up losing any advantage that you gain from that.
Yeah, and so typically if we were to put an example of the 2-1-2 that No Tomorrow's running, traditionally you would keep Rhaegar and Leoric 100% split because, again, both of them have their own self-sustain. So then you put that like Li Ming with the follow-up, or whoever has the most kill potential maybe with Leoric. Talking about kill potential, though, Insomnia there falling down here. Freedom in a tough spot. Zugrug has to back out as well. That is a good job here from No Tomorrow. And though Team Freedom do have the wave clear advantage, losing that man on the bottom was a pretty big setback.
Yeah, so maybe in realizing that No Tomorrow cannot deal with the 4-man rotations up between the two mid and top, just pushing when they can up into the bottom lane or down in the bottom lane, and then making a rotation when Team Freedom starts to get a little antsy of trying to push that lane back.
Talking about antsy, Zugrak's going to move in. Keep in mind, Casanova ended up hitting the W there. He is going to go down. Nobody to be able to join him. Dansky's like, I'm here. Put me in, coach. But being a man down, not going to be anything he can do about that, at least at this point in time.
Interesting talent starting to be taken up. Hurricane from Sonya. So whenever she is rooted or slowed and she goes into whirlwind form, it will remove those. Helps her to make sure that she can run away. And there's going to be a lot of slows too, especially as we talked about it with Lion's Maw being picked up from Varian.
Possible totem at 16 there for, you know, Rhaegar as well. Something to look out for.
Speed Demon.
Yeah. Other thing that we do see in this game specifically at level 4s is going to be the Heart and Bones. That is more of a standard on Leoric in general, but it's not. There are variations, I guess, so just keep you guys up to date since we don't see too much. I think it's the first NA Leoric that we've managed to get, if not pretty close to it.
No, Psalm's played some Leo, and he likes the fealty unto death there, but he's playing it more focused into the 1v1.
Yeah.
And yeah, here he's all about making sure that he can be a good target for team fights, especially if he's the one who has to tank the damage as he's Wraith walking away. For this team, sacrificing Leo, then he tanks a lot more of it before he'd go down.
Yeah, and the rest of this, though, has gone well so far for Team Freedom. 33 gems turned on for No Tomorrow. Freedom sitting at 30, more in the hands of Freedom, but again, does Freedom have the tools to be able to snowball this game into their favor for the first part? Because as it moves on, more around the 20 era, if No Tomorrow's on the same footing, I think their comp will kind of drastically shift in its power. And just the early siege of Freedom really makes, you know, puts a pretty solid incentive onto focusing on the turn-ins.
Ferocious healing for Sonya, so no Poison Spear this time at level 7, wanting to have herself sustain. She's been in the fights versus Casanova, plus there's only Malfurion to keep everyone healthy for Team Freedom, along with the Zarya shielding. So in this case, wanting to make sure that she can continually heal herself up and stay down in that bottom lane without having to go back.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more focus put into the 1v1 rather than, you know, the kill potential possibly into this game. We'll see if that hurts them as it moves on, because playing the sustain raw teamfight game into a Leoric composition maybe isn't necessarily the best. It can come back to haunt you. But we'll find out. It's going to be see how it played, and if we see solid sacrificing of the Leoric. Again, this is more around the 20 part of the matchup here. But for now, the turn-in attempt here, Casanova is going to try and put 9 more in, as Freedom has been able to delay a reasonable amount. This is going to be at first turn-in here over to No Tomorrow.
Yeah, taking out Malfurion was what sealed the deal for No Tomorrow to get this first turn-in. But with them being very close and experienced to Team Freedom, No Tomorrow want to get as many towers as they can. Kills here would be even more amazing. There's a totem. Dansky's going nowhere. He's going to try to just soak up as much health as he can, make this go as long as possible before No Tomorrow got the kill, hoping that Team Freedom could turn around a kill on their own. But instead, Zugrak will be lost to the wind, to the void, and no Gul'dan and Diablo for the beginning of this Web Weaver phase.
Yeah, that's really going to be a painful scenario now for Freedom to be able to deal with here, and the Web Weavers are only going to further the advantage here. I'm just amazed at Freedom's laning that they've fallen apart so hard. They have the Mouth, they have the Gul'dan, they've got Zarya. Diablo, I mean, he's nothing to maybe write home about, but he's nothing to laugh at either. Another Tonka cleanse coming out from Collusion, but things do not look good here for No Tomorrow, or excuse me, Freedom, and No Tomorrow's doing everything they can to punish them. Another taunt combo.
Lots of follow-up. Li Ming gets the kill there. Nobody wanting to give even more resets, and until Team Freedom can get heroic abilities, they're just going to have to let No Tomorrow run the map a little bit here.
Are they just going to, you know, Odin up here? Might as well. Bottom is going to be falling here with time. Top's going to be cleared out now for Freedom. With the 10 advantage, I would have liked, you know, just threaten the keep front wall. Screw it. It's going to be worth more experience. That bottom 4 is going to die no matter what. No answer on the side of Freedom, but safer choices here. You know, I'm a risk taker, I guess. You know, I just go until I throw, and then I go, well, you just blame your team, because that's what you do. It's the safe way to go. 45 gems available now for No Tomorrow. Almost enough to stack a secondary turn-in, but Team Freedom, in fact, do have enough. It's Lightning Breath.
It is Lightning Breath once again. Zugrak diving in. We'll see how that works out for him. It might be Expulsion Zone Lightning Breath too. Oh man, guys, we need it right now. Hashtag HGC, let us know what Expulsion Zone into Lightning Breath is, because that's got to be some sort of scary oven.
It's not the easy bake oven. We've already seen that.
Yeah, you cannot be easy
we
bake
have an
oven.
opportunity. They're on the opposite sides, but we can still see the easy bake oven.
It'd be on Leo probably if he drops in Tomb, then Zugrug turns around, body blocks him, and just says, "Hello, Leo. How do you like the fires of hell?"
Hell's a bad word.
He's not gonna like it.
There you said it.
He's from it. Or the hells.
Oh my goodness. All right, so Talent Tier 13 is closing in for No Tomorrow. He's still yet to be able to get a team turn in for Freedom. Excuse me, Zugrug goes in there. Sony's going to pop Wrath
there
for the Zugrug. There's going to be the Lightning Breath. Urho is going to get the silence onto him, but yet there is the Ancestral going to land. One member down. Diablo ends up falling. Insomnia trying to retreat. He's in the skirmish with Casanova. He's spinning to win. He's going to be able to keep himself up there with the Ferocious Healing. Root, though, onto Jason. Not enough to pull him away, and Jason just cleaning up there with the Odin form. No Tomorrow pulls ahead even farther and gaining a Talent Tier advantage.
Insomnia's self-sustain worked out, but Cool Dan's did not. 13 is here for No Tomorrow. They have enough gems for another turn-in. Not seeing them just yet. Want to go up and try to get boss along with this turn-in. Again, the respawn timers are very short for Team Freedom, so instead No Tomorrow, we're seeing them make the safe play once again, although they will at least get bruisers to go along with this Web Weaver push.
It's interesting to see that that change was enough to see a more, almost more Lightning Breath on less popular maps or scenarios than we do see in the Apocalypse here in HGC North America so far. 3 Web Weavers are going to be spawned. How long they're going to last and what they make happen, though, is the choice of No Tomorrow. Mid fort's down, bottom and top are going to be prepped well. Freedom's looking to clear on to top. Tiger JK is going to casually 1v1 Insomnia. The flank, though, with the Entomb is going to be real.
Not a very fair 1v1.
Yeah, no, that wasn't, actually. Even if he survives, there's going to be Entomb directly after he goes down here. Bottom's now the focus for the Web Weaver phase. 2-level lead still. No Tomorrow. Can they close out this game, get their first win at HGC North America? It looks like they have what it takes.
10 kills to 1 so far, but we have seen some miraculous comebacks on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Team Freedom just need to make sure that they make the right decisions about when to fight. They still have Dansky. They still have Moonburn. Oh, no, they do not. They still have Dansky. They still have Sonya to be able to clear out Web Weavers as fast as they can.
They've got the Spirit of Moonburn.
They have the scouting drone.
Casual Entomb, walk away. That's really how you put fear into your opponents. And this is now going to be just a down. It's such a tough spot for Freedom, and especially if No Tomorrow. It looks like they are.
It's a great defense, though. They're almost 13.
Yeah, they are almost 13, and being able to get that turn in would be awesome. But it just, the last 2 team fights we've seen, it wasn't like it was close. Oh, there was a mistake here, make up for it. It just didn't seem like compositionally maybe they had the tools necessary to be able to win these fights. And the turn-in is going to happen here on bottom, but the boss has now been started by No Tomorrow. This doesn't look like it's going to be stopped by Freedom at all.
No,
Zarya nowhere near.
Push bottom immediately, knowing that they are at some point going to have to send somebody back to deal with that boss. So want to make sure that they can get value with Web Weavers, knowing that they have to start making things happen. They have to get value out of these so that they can catch up, because they are still 2 levels behind.
Yeah, it's just, oh man. The boss now sieging up. Sonya is probably one of the more consistent clears, probably the most consistent clear that we see on Freedom, so maybe she'll back out to be able to rid of it. Instead, they're actually just going to let the Web Weaver do their bidding there in the top lane and try and force something, while No Tomorrow still does not have the 16 talent here. Though, keep in mind, it is really close, and this mid wave won't be enough, but the second one should just about be. The Oryx clearing onto bottom as well. So Freedom here, front wall, looks like all they're about to achieve here out of this turn-in.
Quest talent update, Echoed Corruption, 3/4 of the way done.
Lion's Maw is just pretty much there, about 1 to 2 more.
Both of Zarya's questing talents at level 1 and 4. Still a little bit out, but the grenade is almost there.
You know how we call the builds in general, like the old Uther, when you have a lot of activatables, we called it the piano?
Yeah.
What if you have, what if a hero releases where there's just quests on every talent? What do we call that one?
I don't know, but I know who would probably give us a really good answer.
Who?
The wonderful ladies and gentlemen watching on Twitter who could use the hashtag HGC to let us know.
That actually is that would be an interesting one. I don't know. That one is if there was just a quest talent at every tier, you know? And it's the whole hero, everything about it. You're just like, well, I managed to finish my quest at 4, but I didn't finish my quest at 16, so then I didn't just get a 16. That would be crazy.
What's the name of the Hearthstone card that goes, give me a quest? Is that just questing adventure?
Oh, man. All the Hearthstone nerds out there right now are probably upset with me in the fact that I don't know that. I don't
know it either.
I don't play enough card games, honestly. Sad days. But yeah, we'll make it that dude. He'll be the give me a quest.
Got it. All right, Team Freedom are down. They don't have 16 talents. They have all of their keeps. They have withstood a lot of the pressure that No Tomorrow have given and thrown at them. And we'll have to withstand a little bit more. No Tomorrow are going to steal away the bruisers. But No Tomorrow are trying to do as much as they can to keep the pressure on for Team Freedom. And Freedom are starting to be able to come back in this game.
Yeah, No Tomorrow hasn't, you know, put themselves in a position necessarily to be able to end the game, but maybe that Entomb is going to be it. Entomb ends up dropping. Nobody goes down, but it did force the Lightning Breath and a Horrify here. Expulsion Zone as well is going to be on cooldown. Though Entomb it's going to be up here in 35 seconds, so it's a very short cooldown. And 16 picked up soon as Sonya's still soaking on top. So this is it. Are we going to see Freedom be able to turn the tides of the game? They have enough gems to turn in. They've got the same talent tier. This is it. If Freedom fails, though, the game might be out of reach. They have a small minute here to be able to try and force the turn in, and we'll see how No Tomorrow responds.
Not only the game, but the series. There's a lot on the shoulders of Team Freedom, and they are still the spicy trampoline.
Is it because it has lightning breath and there's fire involved? It's not fire, it's lightning. I don't know that one. The spicy trampoline. I get the trampoline because Expulsion's constantly pushing out like they're bouncing.
Yeah, and the trampoline is Entomb plus Expulsion Zone where they just keep bouncing inside of the Entomb.
So then you're saying we can't have just the lightning breath variation is not enough to consider it spicy? Are you trying to deem that not qualifying?
Is it, well, you know, it's the spicy breath of Diablo. I don't know.
Is lightning really spicy? That's the real question.
But it looks like fire.
Okay, I agree with you, but oh, wait a minute. Entomb comes out. There's going to be the lightning breath.
Spicy trampoline incoming. Arrow is way away from the rest of the team. But a lot of heroics have come out. Arrow dives back in. That is a money corruption.
And Twilight Dream on top of it. Urho gets the spear. Insomnia's got the spin. Interrupted there, but it cost him his life. At this point, 2 people have now fallen. Diablo's going to pin Jason into the wall. Now 3 go down. We talked about the window. Freedom very openly took it here. They're going to be able to confirm this turn-in. No boss available, so no uber power play in their hands, but they, you know, they're down experience, but this is the moment. They're going to be able to turn this around. They have 30 seconds to be able to capitalize, even prepping the bottom lane here. It's going to be Dansky and the rest of Freedom. Good job, though, on No Tomorrow. They're going to take out the Knights, you know, make it a little bit more difficult by a couple of seconds for their team, as Leoric now just coming back. Freedom's got to open up this map.
Getting those bruisers is very good for No Tomorrow, knowing that Team Freedom would like to have bottom and top. Top because of the boss, bottom because that's where the fort's already down. So they'll focus on one of those two and leave the mid, and those bruisers will stall out as long as they can so that No Tomorrow can respond. But they still need a few more seconds to have all the members of No Tomorrow back up. Looks like they're going to forfeit here the fort in the top, at least for now, until they can get back into a team fight. No Odin, no Ancestral Healing, but still, a lot of the tools that No Tomorrow need to make fights happen, like Entomb, like Taunt, those are there to at least get a couple of picks.
Yeah, Zugrug almost was able to flip Tiger JK into the team. Insomnia throws out the spear. Looking to try and get a pick. This mid fort is going to be falling down, giving the experience almost dead even now for the teams. And the gems, though, are almost dead even too.
Wow.
We have an even game on our hands now. The window existed. Freedom totally capitalized perfectly, and now we have a dead even game. Does No Tomorrow have the tools? So we talked about as the game, you know, progresses later and a little bit later. I do think No Tomorrow post 20 gets absolutely terrifying.
Because of Spectral Leech?
Because Leoric at this point in the game is scary. Even beyond just his Spectral Leech, it's just the value you can get out of his passive. You start a team fight, you throw all your heroics out, and you're like, oh, hooray, Leoric was the only one who ended up dying. You try and get something out of it, one slow, suddenly the whole game is over. You have to take small victories. Every time you kill Leoric, you just go, maybe we can get a 4 here. Just like the smallest things, only because you're losing 30 seconds on every kill, what you normally are so comfortable with. And the cost of your heroics are usually too high for that here. So we'll see if we, Casanova there on the Leoric is going to be able to make those big plays.
You think that scaling even outscales the poison damage from Gul'dan and then Sonya, who has Nerves of Steel now?
It's most importantly, it's heroics. More than just base kits, because so we do see he did move in the Spectral Leech, but it's like if Lightning Breath, if Horrify and Twilight Dream are used and only Leoric dies, there is nothing to be gained off of that. Right? If everybody just backs, they look for the keep. Suddenly, Leoric's slowing. He rise from the dead, and suddenly he's going to be back. All questing talents is going to be Lore Master.
So we've got Piano Uther as an example, Lore Master, Zarya kind of.
Zarya kind of. We're calling Zarya the Lore Master.
She's got 2 questing talents right now. They're both done, by the way. All the questing talents are done at this point.
Freedom still yet to be able to pick up this 20 as the Web Weavers go in. There's going to be the Horrify. There's going to be the Lightning Breath. And we talked about this situation. Actually, Casanova not even going down yet. Diablo goes in. He gets taunted. Zugrug dead, but he in fact has the souls. Insomnia, though, is going to be able to spear right on out. Twilight Dream, Bolt Collusion. Woo! Oh my, confidence there from a support. What a playmaker there, not getting any kills. And we took a moment there. Leoric didn't even die, but those heroics were now killed. So if we see that sacrifice that we were talking about with, Casanova, suddenly Freedom's not going to be able to make anything happen, and we could see, a huge momentum swing for No Tomorrow.
I was very scared when Diablo went from the shadows. There's going to be a taunt once again on Insomnia, and a lot of his defensive tools are not quite back up. He goes in for a whirlwind, but just gets deleted. But at least Zugrug and Nasmus with his grenades are trying to get a counter kill on Casanova. Again, it would not be as worth because it's just Leoric, but every little bit counts at this point when they're trying to just stay in this game.
All right, so Leoric ends up falling here. We'll see, bottom keep falls. Mid is going to be the focus now as, Sonya is not worth that of Leoric. We'll see how much faster he'll be able to come up over here. And this is it. So now we see, all right, 1-for-1. Team Freedom looks to be able to make a play. It's the small victories I'm talking about. But if every fight happens on the right side of the map, how is Freedom going to be able to capitalize anything? These 1-for-1 trades really aren't 1-for-1. Although Casanova has not been able to outscale the Sonya, there's going to be another W. And suddenly he pulls ahead in this dramatic race to spawn, not even counting the position. And so it's so hard to play into level 20 Leo. It really, really is difficult. Cloud9 taught me my lesson there with the Immortal comp when they first practiced it against us, and ever since then I've been afraid of this hero. Pulse 20 mid keep falling.
That unstoppable competitor saving Zarya a lot, although the rest of No Tomorrow weren't quite in position along with Erho. Erho was still diving in to try to get the combo going onto Zarya, and with just getting Sonya back up, losing another member in staggered deaths would have been devastating to Team Freedom. Here comes the taunt again. Does have unstoppable competitor and does use that Expulsion Zone 2 and Lightning Breath going in, trying to take out Erho, but it's Zarya who's taken out in an instant.
And it's going to be the Bolt Twilight Dream to use as well. Collusion once again, very aggressive. Casanova, look at that Spectral Leech value with the W. Zugrug trying to retreat, no souls left. That's 65 seconds. He is nowhere to be found. Jason now in the Odin, pressuring towards mid. Keeps going to be down with 2 members down. Team Freedom is in a bad position here. This boss is going to be going over to No Tomorrow. I don't think there's no heroics available. Zarya is the only one who could probably turn this boss play. And in fact, she's going to be dead here. So this, oh man, I'm trying to, this game, 21-minute boss, only top keep. It's not no front wall and it's halfway dead. Spawning is going to be Diablo back up. I think No Tomorrow's got it with this push. This boss is enough to be able to end the game.
It's 21 minutes into this game on Tomb of the Spider Queen. If No Tomorrow win this game, they will take the series, their first series of HGC in NA. Team Freedom have done everything they can at this point. They get a turn and they will have some Web Weavers for assistance. And Zarya is up now. 10 seconds until Diablo is up 2. Not quite having all of their heroics or Team Freedom, but they will at least have all of their members.
So the most important thing now to be able to end the game is look for a pick, but it should be very easy now that they know, again, Diablo just spawning the grid of this top Web Weaver to be able to get the minions with. So now Erho should hard initiate onto Zugrug, it doesn't matter, anybody, and then you open within a tomb right after the keep drops. So now it's going to be a free defense. It's hard to fight onto the core now if you are, look at the Entomb dropped as well. So now the game is not within lethal position. It's very easy to be able to get rid of. It's hard to fight if you are No Tomorrow at this point in the core. Expulsion Zone use. Insomnia is going to be able to spin to win on the minions, keeping himself up. The shield's going to be untouched. They're still going for it, though. That is going to be Lightning Breath used. They move in towards the core. Odin there with the big red button. Does Freedom have the tools to be able to defend? Taunt used, Gilly? I don't know. This is a close one. The shields are still up.
Shields are just about to go down. Now it's at 98%, but a lot of Odin has been spent. Li Ming goes down, and that's everything for Team Freedom in this game. They somehow miraculously hold. They have Web Weavers in the bottom and the mid starting to put pressure onto the keep structures, but Team Freedom at least don't lose the game here. They've used a lot of their heroic abilities. They're still trying to chase down and see if they can get more kills, but No Tommorrow are out of here.
Yeah, No Tommorrow there without moving, with the boss together and then being overly aggressive at the keep rather than the core. That's why I was talking about, how they should be opening up towards it, and it was enough for them not to be able to in the game. Only doing 2% even with Odin used. So what will Freedom be able to make happen? Because Li Ming is dead, not Leoric. When it comes to turn-in, though, that is far out of reach. Boss just picked up this. There's a win condition not available outside of just picks for Freedom for a long while the turn-in on the side of No Tommorrow is going to be closing pretty quickly. At least, a lot faster than them. And I don't know if Team Freedom has the time. Again, with 3 keeps down and that Leoric here, it's still a long game. Even though there's a couple of moments here and a couple of moments there, Freedom still has a big hill to climb.
No Tommorrow making sure that they don't get into a position where they could be expulsion zoned out and give a kill quickly to Team Freedom. And Team Freedom, despite holding at their core and keeping it at 98%, taking out Li Ming for a long time, it's 24 minutes into this game. They still have to back. Now some serious core damage is being put on, 88% with catapults. And Team Freedom, they have no hope for a Web Weaver turn-in. They have to hope for a team fight win now.
Yeah, they got to look for a pick. They have to be somewhere on the map. Pushing out the lanes is going to be their best focus just because, again, it's really hard to move out on Tomb of the Spider Queen without moving into a tight chokehold where it's very easy and very predictable. So you're clearing out the minion wave to be able to make that happen. 55 gems turned in. So now, No Tommorrow, legitimately, all they have to do is put all the gems onto one person, and then anytime things get ugly, sacrifice Casanova, and just keep doing that until they eventually get a turn-in, because there's so much pressure, and the turn-in is so far away for Freedom. Boss is so far away that is all they have to do at this point into the game. The question is, do they do that, or do they play it that safe? Because, one minor slip-up, if they get a pick, Freedom, if not a pick, not on Leoric, could try to, siege up into a fort, into a keep, something.
No keeps remaining for Team Freedom. They're turning in the few gems that they have, at least making sure that if they do get into a fight, they don't lose those gems. Zugruck's keeping an eye. Only 10 gems needed for No Tommorrow at this point to get the turn-in. And catapults, some minions are starting to amass up in the top lane too, so Freedom know that's another time constraint put on them.
Yeah, it's just everything right now is going against Freedom here into this game. There's going to be the expulsion zone. Casanova is going to Wraith walk right through that. Not going to be able to land the W there. It's going to be a cooldown for a small period of time.
Tomb, since the expulsion zone's down.
Why force it? This isn't your game. Like, Freedom has to make the play, not you. Right? The idea of it maybe, but again, without any heroics use, I wouldn't be willing to take that risk. No Tommorrow right now should just do exactly what they're doing. Make sure Casanova doesn't hold any of the gems, and everything else doesn't really matter. Wait for the pressure. The map's gonna slowly put the catapults in. The Entomb there is gonna be dropped. So now, if things get hairy at all, Casanova just walk into the team. It's fine. Just leave him. Just don't risk anybody else's life with Casanova's. Because, again, the catapults will win the game, and Casanova can come back in 30 seconds, so you lose at most a keep.
Haven't talked about this yet. Airho took Demoralizing Shout at level 20. He may need this here as he's going to drop it now to try to do the damage, or to make sure that they don't do the damage. Airho and Casanova in the back line. Zugruck, the rest of Team Freedom just melting under the pressure, under the damage of Li Ming plus Jason. There is one kill. Reset City about to start for Trees if he can get into position, especially with all of the hit points. Winions
right now might be enough at this point in the game because there are 2 catapults onto top. Everybody for Freedom is on full retreat, but I think this is going to be it. Gilly, Nasmus ends up falling. Gul'dan, the last man alive, shields already removed. The catapult starting it. No Tommorrow is going to be able to get their first series victory here at HGC North America and take out Team Freedom 3-1.
With that victory, No Tommorrow not only get their first series win, but Gale Force Esports gets a spot at the Western Clash, the third and final spot for the Heroes Global Championship Western Clash coming out of North America. So huge congrats to them. Huge congrats to No Tomorrow too. They have been working so hard trying to finally make the synergy happen, work together as a team. It's been up and down. I know it's been a bumpy road, but it's great to see that they have finally been able to make the right adjustments to get to this point.
Yeah, again, the changes, whenever we see that positive improvement for a team, it's so satisfying to be able to see it there. And the last game, the whole series, the whole way through, are working very well with the team. That was what we talked about, what we thought we might need to be able to see. But then also we saw draft changes as well, and not necessarily like other teams have made changes in draft. We saw the Leoric came out. That was a little bit of their own flavor. That being said, it's not like nobody else in North America plays it, but it's not as popular with others. So I love that change for them. It's very exciting to be able to see that. And again, huge congratulations to be able to pick up their first win.
And speaking of the Leoric, we have Casanova. Casanova, who is brand new to HGC and has been looking for that first win for a long time. So I'm sure it's so nice for him to know. And we actually are waiting to be able to talk to him and see how he's feeling after this victory.
Yeah, because I was lucky enough to be able to interview that guy, and just the confidence, the competition within him. I love the competitive drive, and it's like legitimately almost an aura with this dude. You can just tell he is very much, I want to be good, I want to improve, and it's not in the sense of like a cockiness. It's just he wants to be great, really, and it's something that I can truly appreciate with him as a person.
And Team Freedom, though, they came in. We've seen it kind of up and down for them now as well, too, but hoping to continue to get to see improvements from them specifically. Any points that you think maybe is the starting point for them after this match?
I think they really got to look at, just why the slump is. I personally don't have it. I mean, I have my own interpretation, but let's be honest, unless you hear the communication and all the parts of the team, you really can't pinpoint it perfectly. So I think, most importantly, watch VODs, number one. Anything with replays. Replays are the best learning tool, but more importantly, just try and be honest with themselves and figure out what happened, where was, the change, and how can they revert it.
All right, guys, well, we have Casanova on the phone. Hey, Casanova, congratulations. You guys finally have your first series win.
Hey, guys. Yeah, it feels good not being a loser for once. Feels good.
Well, it's really good to see you guys get that win. We've seen you guys trying and working really hard on making sure that you're maintaining your same play styles, but we started to see some deviations in drafting coming in for this series. So what have you guys really been working on as you've been trying to improve so far?
Mainly just working on our teamwork overall. I feel like we have the players to be a top team. It's just a matter of getting it all to fall into place. Today we had a lot of prioritization on Ragnaros, and it was working out really well. And they adapted in the middle of the set. We had that really monkey game on Braxis, but overall it's been good.
When it came to the Leoric into the last game, it was, not an unheard of pickup on Tomb of the Spider Queen, but specifically, was it you who made the call to move into the Leoric? What was the thoughts behind the team? Especially, you guys got those 3 keeps, but weren't able to totally finish out the game. So I was just curious on some of the thoughts there with the Leo.
Oh, no, I'm horrible at Leoric. I didn't want to play it, but my team thought it was a good pick, and I said, you know what, just pick me whatever you think's good. I'm going to do my best. So that's how it went.
All right. I mean, sometimes it's like that.
Well, talk to us about the Sonya. We saw you play Sonya as well as Team Freedom. Now that she has had her changes, where do you see her in the current meta?
I think Sonya's really strong. I mean, she's really, really hard to kill when she's whirlwinding. Like, she heals way too much. The Braxis game, though, like, we didn't even do anything that was good about Sonya. We just kind of lost immediately. So it doesn't really show how good she is as a character. Insom did a pretty good job in that last game, staying alive for a long time. Made it really hard for us to, like, close out that match, but in the end, just Leo Drain with the % damage late game with him and Tychus, we just had enough to get through the heal.
And what does it mean to you as a new player here in HGC that you guys have finally been able to get this win?
I mean, it means a lot to, like, finally get at least one W. Like, it's been a really disappointing season for all of us. We've all been kind of down about it, and it feels good to finally get, like, a little bit of a resurgence here, and maybe we can push for, no more losses the whole season. Who knows?
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Before we have you go, do you have any shout-outs?
Yeah, just shout out my Twitter and Twitch is Casanova Hots for both. And then shout outs to my team. I mean, we worked really hard today. I'm really happy that everyone showed up and we were able to bring the win. So,
Right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, that does it for another weekend of Heroes action here in the Heroes Global Championship. Before we take off for the evening, let's check in once again with the updating standings. As we mentioned, Tempo Storm, Team 8, and then Gale Force Esports with their incredible showing today versus Tempo Storm, able to get the third spot. So those are our three teams who will be representing North America at the Western Clash at IEM Katowice.
But all the other games, they still matter. In fact, because after we move on past part one, I promise you guys are going to realize that where these teams stand is very important, whether or not they're going to be able to remain a part of HGC North America, or in fact, they're going to fall down to the Crucible. But beyond that, we have the ladder format. Like every place, every game still matters here for HGC, even sitting at the bottom there. So, tomorrow, expect that fight to still be there. The grow is nice to be able to hear Casanova feeling a little bit positive. I mean, it's gotta be hard to lose that much so far early on, especially being as optimistic as they were. But it was nice to hear, at least we got a W, and hopefully things keep going in that direction.
Yeah, especially because, like you said, things like the mid-season brawl and how the format for that will work, who actually represents the region, is very important. All the teams are going to play each other again, so they have all these strategies versus each other to bring it back into those series as well. Let's check in with the schedule for next Friday, because we're not going to see you for a few days. We will miss you, but we will be back. We're kicking things off after HGC Korea in Europe with Playing Ducks versus Fnatic, and then Tricked Esport will take on Misfits. But over here in NA, Tomorrow will go up against Gale Force Esports, and then B-Step versus Team Naventic. Ooh, that could be a fun one.
Yeah, it's going to be another, series of what we felt like we saw a lot of this week, even, some of the older members. It seemed like early on it was, the new teams versus the old teams. So now we're getting, again, the new, like we saw in this last series, but then having some of the older ones. So we'll see how it plays out. Naventic is I think a talking point would be the easiest way to put it at this point, with the rise and kind of fall that we see at times, what version is going to be. But B-Steps almost shares the same story. It's just like pick a point in history, and one is going to be significantly, higher or lower than the other. But for once, we see them on the same page. It is exciting to see who pulls ahead.
It's going to be so much fun for next weekend, but that's it for us this weekend. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
I was once a far strider. I swore an oath to defend Silvermoon and its people to my dying breath. It was not enough. My